Hi, I'm Kyle, and on this episode of the MWA podcast, Sean and Jeff and I are asking Marc Spagnuolo the 5 questions. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out Marc's interview on episode 592. So welcome back to the show, Marc.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Well, fantastic. Well, before we get into the 5 questions, we need to dip our toes in the woodworking news. So first up, all of these are for Marc. He does reviews.
Oh, yeah.
And, we might need some new reviews for it. So Woodpeckers has a new indexable miter sled. Now, I think this is basically their copy of what Incra has.
Incra, yeah.
Yeah, and they took their indexable miter sled and they kind of mounted it on 2 pieces of wood. Kind of like, what is that? The Incra 5000, something like that, 8000?
Yeah, Incra 5000, and I think they have a smaller one as well.
Yeah.
Miter Express or something like that.
Are you still using that? You had some good reviews of that.
Yeah, I have it. I don't often use it, but
Mhm.
just because of a workflow thing. But if I need a tool like that, that's the one I'm going to use as the 5000.
So anyway, this is pretty cool, and I'm sure it works well. But it's right now it's $299, which is cheaper than Incra's version. But I don't know if I didn't check out the pricing on their smaller version. If they have a smaller one, I just went to the 5000, which I think was about $500, something around there.
And just looking at what
Yeah.
this is the first time I'm looking at
Yeah.
this particular one, it looks like the Miter Express. It actually looks like the smaller Incra. Just
Okay.
if you're
Okay.
just looking at the size, the
Maybe it's-
table and the plate on that is way smaller than the 5000.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It looked way smaller. So, yeah, that was interesting. But I remember when they first came out with the miter sled before they added the sled and the drop zone and all that kind of stuff for it, I was going, man, the Wood Whisperer just finished the miter gate shootout.
Yeah, missed it.
I'm sure you get this all the time. People like
Sure.
sending you stuff going, hey, this is new.
Yeah, how come you didn't include that one? Because it didn't exist
exists.
at the
It wasn't
time.
there.
Exactly. So anyway, if you're in the market for that, you might want to check that out. But I'll also check out the smaller Incra. It's probably right around the same. I would assume that's competitive as far as price and features. But
Right. Interesting that it's just some like 4040 extruded aluminum there. That's like off the shelf stuff that they're using. I almost guarantee they're not making that
maybe,
in
maybe
like
not.
in the main body of the rail.
Mm.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see, possibly. But that actual miter gauge looked pretty good as far as miter gauges go. But I have the Incra 1000 SC that I bought 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it still works great, but I rarely use it. I mean, I got a sled and mostly I'm doing 90-degree cuts.
Right.
But I have had to do some cuts when I was working on some of my jigs, making like a 3-degree cut. And one of them was like a 6 and a 6.4-degree cut. And it worked flawlessly to make that cut. Yeah.
So that I'm pretty sure if you have the 1000, that when you get the Miter Express from Incra, it doesn't come with the miter gauge. It works with their other
Right.
miter gauges.
Oh, okay.
So that could be something that if you wanted something like this functionality that the Woodpecker has, you in particular, if you have the Incra 1000, I think you can just get the Miter Express and then you kind of have it 2 in 1.
Nice.
Nice.
Cool. Well, next up, and this is what I really want Marc to review, is these new Big Eye fences.
Yeah.
And what they've come at now with the Big Eye Intelligent Position Manager. And this is something that, it's one of those electronic gizmos that tells you exactly where you are from your blade, you're to the thousandths. And it will also tell you the tilt of your blade. I'm not sure that works on anything else but a Harvey table saw. But
Good
it
question.
looks pretty interesting. The only problem with it, it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
But knowing Harvey, just wait, it'll be $800 in a couple of weeks. But it looks pretty interesting. Now, this is obviously something that would not be a hobbyist would not buy. I guess it'd be more of a production type stuff. But it looks pretty interesting with all the features it does. Has some interesting things. And it has some sort of AI technology. That's what we need in our table saw fences
Of
is more
course.
AI.
Hey, don't cut my fingers, but
But I love this one thing where it shows it positioned at 13 over 255, 256. It's like, okay.
that's
Yeah.
what I normally measure.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Down to the
256
256.
7-inch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the look of this thing. I am intrigued by it. I'm
Mhm.
also I have a weird relationship with Harvey products that I find them to be amazing. They take great photos. I find in execution, sometimes there's flaws. And
Yes.
so I am tempted for something like this just for the sake of reviewing it. But my gosh, does it look nice? And like
It does.
Yeah,
the
it
Yeah.
entire
does.
fence system looks nice.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the position manager, but the big eye fences for both the table saw and the bandsaw look incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they do. And I think that the thing is like I'm okay with the micro adjustment. There's ways to do that. I do that with my saw stop
Mhm.
fence, not digital, but there
Yeah.
is a micro adjustment. The one thing that no one does, and I would love to see it, is if somebody can give me some kind of digital readout for micro adjusting the height of my blade in the table saw.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
the fence
Yeah.
position, we've got so many tricks to get around that. There are
Mhm.
other products, and then, as woodworkers, we're all familiar with the little tap tap for a few thousandths here and there.
Right.
Mhm.
But no one has been able to master what is my blade height, right? And being able to have a repeatable micro adjusting setting for the blade height. If someone could figure that out, I'd be the first to buy it.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, that would be cool because that's different. Like you'd have to like shoot a matrix over that and just read
Yeah, 'cause I don't
where the light stops, right?
it's not something that you could attach to any saw, I don't think, because you gotta get into the trunnions
Yeah, I
and
feel like
all
it
of
needs
that
to be
stuff.
built
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. So if you're
It's
doing
like
something aftermarket, it's gotta be some sort of laser that reads the height or I don't know,
yeah, it's
something.
either an
Yeah.
addition of like the when you're like the woodpeckers to call back their little gauge to check the the slot to
Mm.
the fence to the
Mhm.
blade to be true, something
Yeah.
like that, but it rides above and puts out some sort of grid that says, okay, when you're spinning that arbor up, it's at this height, but it's like temporary. It's like a setup tool, not a permanent fixture.
Sure. Yeah.
Otherwise you gotta, like, have something that pokes out, like, an eye out of the fence itself that can see the blade. Otherwise, it's in the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you. But
might
it
be
looks
hard.
interesting. It looks,
It
not so
does.
Yeah, it
much
does.
not so much this, but, I do like the big eye fences, and I would like to play around with one and
What's interesting is it's like everything but the fence itself,
Mhm.
right? I don't know what fence it applies to, if it's some that's, like, built into Harvey or if it's a unifence or otherwise, where, like, it's the head of it, but not the whole thing.
Mhm.
That's it and then the price point with that, it's like
Yeah.
you're just adapting what you already have. You're
Yeah.
not, like, installing something complete,
Yeah.
it's just a
Cour
piece part.
Course, a real thing from Harvey I wanna take a look at is that new drill press they have out. Have you seen that, Mark?
No. Well, yes, I have actually. Isn't that the one that's like super electronic? No, wait, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, you
bandsaw
can
too,
just put
right?
a yeah, they got a bandsaw too, but the drill press, it has all the stuff like the Nova one does where it'll stop and do all
Yeah,
that
that's what
kinda
I was
stuff.
thinking of, is the
Right.
But
Nova.
it has something where you can just put an X on the wood, and if you're somewhere close, it will adjust the drill where it hits that X.
Yeah.
It's a full, Shapeoko movement of blade kinda thing.
Yeah, yeah, which I thought was
Interesting.
interesting, but, like you said, Harvey has some interesting things, but sometimes it's hit or miss. I've heard that from, people that have their equipment, some of them love it, some of them say, "No, I didn't like it that much."
It's a bit of a challenge
Yeah.
because it is a darling of influencers, and they're well
Mhm.
funded in getting these
Mhm.
influencers to do their work. And that's tough because sometimes the products, they need
Yeah.
to be analyzed a little bit more, and you're not going to get that information from someone who's just getting it for free, or receiving a kickback for it.
Yeah.
But some of their stuff is so good. That's
Yeah.
the problem. Some of it's so
I'm
good.
real tempted with their dust extractors too.
Yeah, the dust extractors I find interesting. I think it
Yeah.
really is dependent on your shop layout, because I
Yeah.
would never want to take up that much floor space for a dust collector, right? Like
Yeah.
I like mine to go vertical.
Girl, yeah.
And if I have a big chest freezer called a dust collection on the ground, that just takes up a lot of useful space. But the design of it is pretty nifty.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Well, speaking of dust collectors, next up, Oneida has a 14-gallon portable cyclonic HEPA dust extractor. Basically, I just put this in here because I thought it looked neat. It's basically a shop vac on steroids, and it's got a price to match. But it's like this HEPA shop vac that has like one of the dust deputy type cyclone attached to it, but it's made by Oneida. It's all a complete unit. It's also $1,150. So
It's up there.
it's up there.
I got to tell you,
And
this thing is ugly as sin. Like
it is pretty ugly.
it is
But I think it's mainly
not pretty.
professionals, people that are doing like concrete surfacing and grinding and stuff like that. But if you want the ultimate in shop vacs, this might be it.
Just
Huh.
note, vacuum hose is sold separately.
There you
Everything
go.
in Oneida is sold separately.
Yes.
But
My
they do.
6
They
gallon.
make great stuff. They make
I
they
love Oneida
yeah,
just in general.
Oh
It's
yeah.
what I've got in my shop, but man, and some of their stuff is badass looking.
yeah.
This is not one of them.
No,
Nope.
no,
Nope.
this is very industrial looking, yes.
My 6 gallon shop vac with a cyclone that looks very similar to that because it's one of
Mhm.
the originals, not their squat, the one that they do now. Does great. It's a pain in the butt to move around, but motor is there and it's a much cheaper tool.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I
And
think
at 5 gallons at a time, I'm good.
right. I think you're right, Kyle, too, because like the first example you see is them with a concrete grinder. So we're talking about more
Yeah,
industrial and commercial
and it
applications.
is
So
Yeah.
HEPA,
who cares
so
what it looks like, right?
yeah, yeah. They're yeah, they're meeting code. They're meeting OSHA standards
Right.
Mhm.
basically with this
Mhm.
thing. Yeah, but, I thought it was kinda fun because, it's an industrial thing, and it's like, "Let's slap a dust deputy on the side of it."
It's really
Right.
funny. It's like we had overstock and we had if I had to find a use for them.
I can see that.
And, last but not least is, Wood Whisperer. They have the True Grip clamp pads, which I think we discussed in the previous episode, along with Woodworkers Fuel Coffee.
Yeah.
So, get out there and get some clamp pads and get some coffee.
Please do. Those beans are gonna go bad, people. You gotta buy them.
That's right, that's right. Now you also have what I thought was interesting, and I didn't know y'all put this out, was you have this new ceramic mug. I don't know how long that's been out, but it was
Fairly
new to me.
Yeah, yeah, since we got the coffee, actually, Nicole was holding on to them. They were made by gosh, I wish I knew the name of it. There's an organization with women who have been, like, rescued from just some really crappy situations and are
Mhm.
rebuilding their lives. They are, do I don't know what else they do, but I know they make these mugs. So it was a great, cause that we were able to support by getting them made by those folks. But yeah, we have a limited number of these. It's just got a nice little guild medallion on the front. I use that coffee cup every morning. It's on the smaller size. I know some people like really big coffee cups. This one's a little bit smaller, but I love that thing. So you can get the mug, you can get the beans, you can get a little combo with the mug and the beans together. We got it all.
Got it all.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm excited about those True Grip clamp pads.
Yeah, they're
That's
great.
not easy to say together, at least for me.
No, I had to do videos on it recently, and boy, did I have a lot of like false starts on that one. True grip clamp pads. Like even now, I can't get it out smoothly. So not the easiest, but they're good. It's a fun product. I think anyone who has a parallel clamp will probably enjoy their clamp more if these are on it. I definitely enjoy them.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Haystack Mountain School of Crafts is a sponsor of this episode. Haystack connects people through craft. From a stunning coastal Maine campus, Haystack provides time and space to engage with materials, develop new ideas, and work in a creative and supportive community. From June through August, Haystack offers 1 and 2 week studio workshops to participants of all skill levels, taught by professional artists from the U.S. and abroad, as well as Square One, a 4-day session format expressly created for beginners. Applications are now open for summer 2026. Wood workshop instructors include Teresa O'Day, Christina Boy, Aspen Golan, Miles Gracie, Wu Henyen, Matthew Herbert, and Yuri Kobashi. The general workshop and Square One application deadline is February 20th, 2026. For workshop descriptions and to apply, visit haystack-mtn.org. That's haystack-mtn.org. And we want to thank Haystack for sponsoring this episode. Well, with that, let's thank our patrons. So who do we have to thank this week?
Right? We'd like to give our patrons a big shout out. Today, that particular shout out goes to our friend Kevin McMahon. Kevin, thank you for supporting the show. And if you would like to join Kevin in supporting us, you can do that by going to patreon.com/MWA podcast.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Kevin. And now to the 5 questions. So, Mark, what is your
Yeah.
favorite tool? And as always, our limit is 23.
I gave this a lot of thought because I have a love for the domino. But this year, I have done a lot of dowel joinery that has kind of taken me away from it. And I've really enjoyed doing a lot of that dowel
Mhm.
joinery. But the one thing that, man, every time I use this tool, I get a little flutter in my heart. It might just be my arrhythmia, but it's also, I just love this tool. The Felder planer that I have.
Yep.
It's a D9. This thing was just a splurge that was a treat to myself that I just have always wanted this thing ever since I first used it at WWing school in Anaheim, California. Just the concept of being able, we're talking about this with the Harvey fence, right? Just convenience things like this. But just being able to push a button and adjust 5 thousandths. And every single time, like I need a 3/4 inch part or I need a specific size part, I could just dial it in and I can get that part. And it's exactly the same as it was the last time I did it. It's just such a treat to use.
Does it have memory where you can go back to a setting?
Well, the it's like an absolute memory in the sense that,
Okay.
like, even after I power it down, whatever it was left at is where it's
Okay.
gonna resume.
Wow.
And if you move it up and then power it down, like, it always knows where it is in space.
Okay.
You can mess
Gotcha.
that up and knock it out of calibration,
Yeah.
but it does have that memory. So it's not like when you get like a little, I forget what the brand, Wixie gauge or whatever
Yeah.
that they sometimes add to a tool,
Right.
which has to be kind of calibrated each time. This is always there. So anytime I fire that sucker up, if I need a specific dimension, I can get it every single time. So yeah,
Nice.
this thing is got a big giant helical head in it, and it's such a fun tool. I had so much more than I deserve, but it was a treat for myself, and I love it.
So how wide is it? Is it 951 millimeters or?
Yeah, I think it is. That's where the number comes
Yeah.
from. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. What's that work out to in inches?
No idea.
A bunch.
Let's see. I think it's like 20
20?
ish. No,
Nice.
that's not right because it's not 951 millimeters is 37 inches. It is not a 37-inch
No.
planer.
Yeah, it's not.
It's closer to like an 18 or 20-inch bed
Okay.
on that thing. So the bed is actually for the size of the footprint of the machine. The bed is fairly small compared, but
Yeah.
it's a hell of a tool.
So
I looked at it. The footprint is rather large.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to move, as part of my shop rearrangement, I had to move it 6 inches and it was a freaking nightmare.
yeah.
Like, my God.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that on that YouTube video you put out. I was going,
Yeah.
I hadn't delved into the comments to see what people had to say about your
Yeah. Yeah. My
technique.
moving technique. Well,
But
let me tell you what.
look solid. Look
Yeah,
solid.
well, we talked about healing time as you get
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
My right hand, still to this day, I have a little bit of pain in my wrist from using that hand jack to move that thing. So,
Wow.
yeah, getting old is fun.
Yeah. So any plans for more Felder in your shop?
Probably not. I mean, because most of their stuff really outpaces the audience that watches my content.
Sure.
So, as much as I'd love to have like a European slider and let's like really get into their line, I just don't know how much of it is appropriate. I think using tools that are, I think the planer is pretty forgivable because they all
Right.
kind of just work the same. But if I start going to a Euro style workflow and, having these big,
Right.
massive tools like that, I don't know how much people want to see that. Maybe I'm overestimating how much people care these days. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I'll
But
I'll
they
be going
got some
further.
nice joiners though.
They do, yeah, and they're combo machines. If you're tight on space, the joiner planer combos, both
Mhm.
hammer and Felder,
Mhm.
they've got some amazing ones that are great for that.
Yeah, I got
Look really cool, too.
I got the Jet 12-inch joiner planer that they came out with years ago,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and I love it. I even converted it over to helical heads before they even had that model.
Nice.
So, well, should I say, when they came out with that model, I converted it over because I was able to get the part for it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
because Bird
Cool.
wanted an arm and a leg, and then I found out Woodcraft would sell me on, how they do that 20% off every 6 months, or they used to on Jet and Powermatic. I was able to order the helical head from Woodcraft and get 20% off.
Very nice.
So,
Right.
anyway, next
So,
question.
next question. Who has influenced you the most? And I don't want to say it's David Marks, but you
was gonna
can
say,
go
can you
wherever you want to
guess?
go.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going back to my roots, grand total, who's influenced me the most? 100% David Marks. I would say if I'm going to give a more recent answer, one of our instructors in the guild has been a big influence is my buddy Phil Morley.
Mhm.
I find his design style and his work methods to be absolutely fantastic. I've learned a ton from him. And he is kind of a bit of a modern day David Marks in a lot of ways. But yeah, to my core and where I started as a woodworker, got to be David.
Of course, yes. So how's he doing? You still keep in touch with him, right?
He seems to be doing well. I just commented on one of his posts recently. He had gotten a whole bunch of just really valuable wood that was wet, and he
Mhm.
wasn't able to actually partial turn it to avoid it cracking. So he submerged all of them. He got a bunch of barrels, filled them with water, submerged them, and they've been there for years. So kind of like a sinker log that still stays intact, doesn't crack, and stays fresh. He just pulled them out of the barrels. So if you follow him on Facebook, you can actually, and Instagram, you could see these posts of him using a hoist to bring these giant blanks out of like his homemade sinker logs that he made basically. So yeah, man, he's still doing his thing and having a good time. It looks like.
That's crazy. Years ago, I remember watching a video of some deck builder and whatever, but they were making a curved railing and like a pool deck railing, and they just dropped logs for a week into the pool.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
allow them to bend it. And I mean, it's similar. I mean,
sure,
you
yeah,
allow wood to be in water for long enough, it will become soft.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what's your white whale? What's that one thing you haven't made yet, but you always wanted to?
Yeah, I'm fortunate in that, early on when I started to make videos, I realized I could do what I want in terms of tackling different projects. I didn't have to necessarily build for clients, right? So I could kind of pick what I wanted to do, kind of like a hobbyist. So things like the Maloof chair, that was something that was certainly a bucket list kind of white whale project. Since then, I don't really have that much. There are some Nakashima pieces I would like to build and learn
Yeah,
from.
love that.
There's definitely still more in green and green that I'd like to play with a little bit. But honestly, I would say the white whale at this point now is going to come from me. It's getting to a point where I could find my own design language and make something that is sufficiently complicated, but not for the sake of being complicated. Just it is complicated, but it is also beautiful. And something that I designed myself and built would probably be that white whale that I'm searching for.
That's really
Nice.
cool because you really have been able to do a lot, a lot of different styles, a lot of production, just,
Yeah.
I mean, and as much as you want to make more pillowed ebony plugs,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I
you
did
know,
say green and green, didn't I? Why did I say that? That seems like a lot of work.
it is a lot of work, but like something else, something that is your own. I know you're a fan of like curves,
Yeah,
and so someday you'll find it.
I think so. I hope
I hope
so.
for you. Yeah,
Or
that's good.
even a line of furniture, multiple pieces that have a particular aesthetic would be nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Super cool.
yeah. Yeah, it's always nice when a furniture maker has that line and that all speaks with the same voice,
Mhm.
Hmm.
across the thing, but anyway, and by the way, Nakashima does go well with green and green as long
Oh,
as
yeah.
you make it out of my whole living room is pretty
It is,
much green and green, but I do have
except for
a
the Nakashima couch.
I have a Nakashima couch, but I
Yeah.
made it out of mahogany,
Okay.
and it's a cushioned couch and stuff like that, and yeah, it works well.
Blends in nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have given up on having any kind of theme. So when people say, "Hey, are you gonna make, a bar table to go with those counter height bar stools you made?" And I'm like, "I guess I could, but I don't have a place for it." So I kind of that is a problem. I tend to jump in and out of things,
Mhm.
and I never go back. So I think I need to figure out a way to slow down and think in terms of a broader set of
Yeah.
furniture, rather than just a one-off piece.
Because quickly it's like just, yeah, put longer legs on table X that you've made, right?
Right. Yep, exactly.
So, then next question though, what is your number one tip for fellow woodworkers?
Subscribe to the guild.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Buy a guild
elf,
course, buy my book, buy some coffee. Hey,
blatant
Yeah.
ad,
just
just
buy
nothing
some
but
stuff.
blatant ads.
I think, especially these days, it's far too easy to get caught in a research loop and to get caught up just watching videos and just not doing enough. And I think when it comes to woodworking, you guys can attest to this. It's the time in the shop, getting the wood dust under your nails and getting the time, like getting the reps in that allow you to understand how wood works, how these machines work. And then when you watch other people do it, you get more out of it. So I would I don't want to see people get into this craft by watching YouTube and then just kind of never getting away from that and being afraid to start because things aren't perfect. I don't have all the tools. I don't have all the red squares. I don't have, all the things that I see this particular person has in their shop. We have a lot of people who started humble who now have amazing giant ass shops that they've made because they made a career on YouTube. So you see that and I can see someone, a beginner, going, I'm never going to be able to do that. Like, why should I even start? And that, to me, that sucks. That's discouraging. I would say best advice is just get a few tools and get going. Like, start making some things. Don't let a few tools. Don't wait for perfection because it's never going to come. Just get out there and start building, and then you'll find how much quicker you progress the more you practice. I mean, it's kind of common sense, but you just got to get the reps in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the mark of the master is not making no mistakes, but it's knowing how to correct them, and
Yeah.
that's just done through experience.
And the
Just experience.
mistakes are the best lessons. I mean,
Said.
where you
Just
learn the
don't
limitations.
don't make them multiple times. That's
Right.
that's the important bit.
Make it once
Yeah,
Yes,
and then learn, hopefully.
and then learn. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, or learn how to make the same mistake a different way.
Well,
Their mistake and somehow make it look like it was on purpose.
there it is. The
Exactly, a
feature.
design opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Mark, our question is, what is your go-to finish? But I think I should ask, what is your latest go-to finish?
Right. Yeah, I do change, don't I? Man, it evolves all the time just because new finishes come out. I found the biggest change to my finishing regimen and the way that I prefer to finish is my own tolerance for the types of chemicals I want to expose myself to. So that has changed as I've gotten older. These days, and full disclosure, I do work with them now, but it was because they did so well in our shootout that we did as a company called Natural One Coat. They are a Rubio competitor. So if you're familiar with Rubio's type of two-parter product with a hardener and the oil, very similar thing, but they have their own line of products. They are much cheaper than Rubio, and their performance was better in our tests. So great company. And like I said, I now work with them in sort of an advertising capacity. Like that's sort of the default finish for me. Regardless of what I'm building, chances are it's going to be finished with that stuff, unless there's a specialized need or they don't necessarily have that in their product line, something specific that I'm looking for.
Nice.
Very cool. I didn't check those out. I don't know that I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
They're, like I said, Rubio competitor. So I took all of the Rubio competitors and I did a side-by-side with just some real basic, like not taking it to a lab kind of testing, just real world testing. And this Natural One Coat performed better than even the Osmo product, the Rubio product, Timber, whatever the brand is now. They have a different name. I think General Finishes came out with their oil that was a competitor for that. And there's just Natura just performed the best, flat out. And I had no relationship with the company whatsoever at that time.
Right.
We only started working together after, in fact, like a year after that review, we started to actually talk business together.
That's super cool.
Yeah. I think somewhere I got the Simple Varnish Finish DVD somewhere.
Now, that's a blast from the past. Man.
I got some General Finishes that are probably way past, good on the shelf somewhere.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing. I still sometimes crave the simplicity and the VOCs that are in a can of like Armor Seal, or Sealacell. Like that was a classic finish for me for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I do sometimes miss it a little bit because it's a very different character to that finish. Even if chemicals aside, it's a film finish and you can do different things with it than you can do with a hard wax oil. And you get a different result and a different appearance. Still like it. I still got it in a finishing cabinet. I just don't use it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I've kind of moved to, our sponsor, which is Sutherland Wells. And they came to us because we kept mentioning them all the time because we discovered their finish. But it's, it's
and they're like tongue oil, aren't they?
Real polymerized tongue oil, low VOCs.
Yeah.
Or zero VOCs on the Botanical line. And yeah, it's really nice stuff. They make a oil type finish as well as a varnish type finish as well as some waxes and stuff like that. But,
nice.
and what's interesting about them is they make it there themselves. It's not like this company with these big vats and all this kind of stuff. It's like a mom and pop shop that's actually making the finish with
Love it.
real ingredients. And I think they source their tongue oil from a grove in Florida.
No kidding.
Yep.
Yeah, so. I've never had the pleasure, but I've always heard good things about their products.
Yep.
Come to the dark side, Mark.
Yeah.
What's that? I missed what you said.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah.
I would love to. I'd love me some tongue oil. Polymerized, even better.
Yes. Yes, it actually dries overnight, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Still 30 days to cure like all these finishes, but yeah. But with that, Mark, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, of course. TheWoodWhisperer.com is our primary hub for just about everything. TheWoodWhispererGuild.com if you want to get in-depth courses in woodworking. And then any of the, fun products we talked about or, the clamp pads or my books, anything like that is at TWWstore.com. I guess I should mention Wood Talk one of these times. We do a podcast, not all that different from this one, called Wood Talk. It's at Wood Talk Show.
That's right. We'll cut that out.
No competition allowed, please.
Yeah. I forgot to welcome you to the longest continuing running
Woodworking
podcast.
You got us there. Yeah, we do have a habit of quitting.
Well, with that, Mark, thanks so much for coming on the show. It's been far too long, and we'll have you on much quicker. Now we just got to get Shannon and Matt on.
I'm sure they would love it. Yeah, get them on here.
Yeah, we should get them on a rotating thing, and then we'll all converge in Iowa at some point.
Perfect. That sounds great.
And that just about wraps it up for this show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on the podcatcher of your choice. Just search for the Modern Woodworkers Association. And while you're there, please leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at MWA_podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/MWA podcast. But the best thing you can do is tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way in sharing our discussion.